Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic today is African Americans and reparation. And we have with us to talk about African Americans and the whole question of reparation, Dr. AAl-Hadid. Dr. AAl-Hadid is the chairman of the Africana Studies Department at Tennessee State University. Dr. AAl-Hadid, let me welcome you to the show this morning.
Thank you, Dr. Haney.
And to tell you again, Dr. AAl-Hadid, how delighted we are to have you because you've given us so many excellent shows. And I think the one that we're going to talk about this morning is the one that you've promised us each time that you come and talk to us. And what we'd like to do today is to talk about this whole issue of reparation or compensation. I think a long time ago we used to talk about compensation, some kind of payment that Africans ought to receive as a result of the 300 years of slavery and et cetera. But let's have you to first give us some information about your background and some of the things that you've been involved with, but later on to, as part of this topic, to talk about this whole issue of reparations.
Well, as you know, Dr. Haney, I'm currently chair of the Department of Africana Studies at Tennessee State University. Prior to becoming chair, which I've been now for close to 10 years, I was in the sociology department, and well, I was there for a while, and I developed a concept called the Great Debate. And for me, that became the launching pad for the creation of the Africana Studies Department. Now, my graduate work was at the University of California, Santa Barbara, where I was before coming to Tennessee State University. My undergraduate work was done at Alabama State University, and my high school work was done at George Washington Carver. While I was a graduate student, I spent some time traveling through Africa, made the pilgrimage to Mecca in 1970, and I think those travels in Africa and the pilgrimage set the stage for my international understanding of Pan-Africanism and the Islamic world community.
Well, let's talk about Dr. AAl-Hadid. I think, as I indicated earlier, that when we talk about reparations, we're talking essentially in dealing with North America. We're talking essentially with the idea that Africans should receive some kind of payment in whatever method for the pain and suffering perhaps experienced during the period of slavery. But let's look at it from your perspective and from an historical perspective.
Well, from a historical perspective, we know that the major premise has to be slavery. But we have to look at slavery, I think, in a new light. Not that we want to be revisionist, but we have to look at it from the standpoint that Africans did not come over here under their own free will. They did not immigrate over here under their own free will. They didn't go to the American embassy in Africa and secure a visa to come over here. They were brought over as prisoners of war, basically. And once they were brought over here as prisoners of war, then they were forced into chattel slavery, which was a type of servitude where there was no compensation for labor, there were no rights, human or civil, and they were worked from can't see in the morning till can't see at night. Now this crime to humanity persisted from 1619 roughly until 1865. And even after 1865, we went from 1865 roughly till 1965 under a period what is called American apartheid, euphemistically called Jim Crow. But basically it was apartheid. So there was a long train of pain and suffering. And I think that given those circumstances, justice cries out for some type of compensation. Now, when we come to the question of reparations, we know that reparations has a legal definition. Legally speaking, it basically means to repair or restore or to exact some type of restitution for pain, suffering, cruelty, inhumanities, injustice, etc. So we have to operate from that premise. Now, when I approach the question of reparations, as El-Hajj Malik al-Shabazz approached it, I think the strongest case can be made in the international arena. I think it is a case for the world court, not just simply a case for the Supreme Court. And then when you make it a case in the international arena, you're talking basically about a crime against humanity, you're talking about genocide, and you're also talking about child slavery. And if you look at that from the standpoint of the statutes of human rights, the statutes that are part and parcel of international law, then you come to a different type of conclusion as opposed to domestic and American law.
You know, Dr. Al-Hadid, and of course we're getting ready for our first commercial break, but when we come back, let's have you to sort of amplify a point that you're making here now in terms of the judicial foundation for this, because I think many people, when they think about reparation, think that it's something that has to go through Congress and Congress has to approve and et cetera. But you're saying that we're dealing with law here,
yes,
and that is how it has to be
final
set.
analysis. Yes.
And of course, let us take this first commercial break, and we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. The topic